Hello and welcome to another episode of the Investor Financing Podcast. And I'm your host, Beau. And today's show, we have Christina. She is the VP of Commercial Lending at Commerce Bank of Arizona. Christina has over 16 years of experience in financial service industry. Her area of expertise is owner, investor, commercial real estate financing for all property types, conventional SBA construction, read it wrong, TIs, that's good, and working capital for business owners. She is an integral part of the community with her focus on providing assistance for her customers' continued success. Awesome. Well, welcome to the show. You're based in Scottsdale, Arizona. Great place to be.
Yes, yeah, definitely, especially last week. Phoenix Open and the Barrett Jackson Car Show.
Oh, nice. Very good. Yes, my friend owns a couple Airbnb properties in Scottsdale, and he does very well with those ones. In Old Town, and you can walk. And I haven't been to Scottsdale that often, but the couple times I have, it's been a great experience. I'm in Henderson, Nevada, Las Vegas. But anyways, let's talk about. Yes, not a bad place to be. The desert. I love the desert. So Commerce Bank of Arizona, on these shows, we call it Lender Showcase. And really, we just kind of take it for the people that are watching in the future. What we do is take a deep dive on your lending footprint, your appetite, what kind of deals. And we also try to give some guidance for people looking for financing, what they might expect, and some tips to help them get their projects funded at the end of the day successfully, and working with businesses and so forth. So Commerce Bank of Arizona, you guys provide conventional SBA construction, working capital loans. So you pretty much have a pretty big product offering. How long have you been with the bank, and what's your background in the commercial real estate space?
Sure. So I've been with the bank since January of 2021 after being with one of the big corporate banks for 15 years prior to, and our commercial banking group was eliminated nationwide November 22nd, 2020. So yeah, I've got lucky to come over here in 21. I didn't think I'd be very happy or comfortable at first in a smaller community type of bank. Fortunately, one of my mentors in the banking world said, give it a try. The big banks will always call you in about 6 months or so, and you can always, change then. And it was so correct. I love it. I really do. It allows us as a community bank, we're a little more creative. We don't have the fine box that I was used to fitting things into. The crazy thing is, for 15 years, I did a really good job wrapping everything up and putting a bow on it in the box. And yet being able to step out of that has just provided a lot more opportunity. And in some ways, I think it's made me even a better banker, because it allows you to get more creative and think, of areas that might possibly work versus, just in a stringent line. So that's been very beneficial.
We talk about that on the show often, that people should realize that the community banks are really, sometimes they're just so much more flexible, and they'll do things that the big banks won't, and they treat people as people and not just a number, right? And that's the difference with the community banks. Now, is your lending footprint mostly like the Phoenix, Scottsdale market, or are you all over Arizona?
All over Arizona, which is nice. Our headquarters is actually in Tucson, so we're very prominent there as well. Yes, ideally, the borrower and the properties are here. However, as long as one or the other are here and it makes sense, we'll, consider it definitely.
Okay, great. And do you underwrite your SBAs in-house? You're like a delegated SBA lender for S7As?
We do SBA lending. We do actually work with Prudent as well, but we do 7As and 504 SBA loans all the time, every day. 504s commercial real estate focused. And then the 7As are great and ideal for startups. But we try to find out what the borrower's need is and get the best fit for them. in addition to finding, sharing with them the options that are available to see what they really want to do. Simply because a 504 loan has a 10-year prepayment penalty.
Mm-hmm.
But if the company's planning on holding on to that for the 10 years, that's not an issue, because usually the rates are lower than the 7A. But a startup without real estate, you don't have a choice. You have to go 7A.
And for your 7A, will you do like not just real estate type 7As? You'll do franchise acquisitions, working capital type SBA, business acquisitions, all that. Okay.
Yeah, that's where they fit. Yeah, because 504 has to have real estate involved.
Mm-hmm.
So as a startup, we have to go with the 7A.
And then what types of businesses do you serve? Do you work with many different business owners, all different restaurants and the full 9 yards?
We actually do. We have a pretty vast portfolio of our different industries, manufacturing, churches, schools. We have a few schools that we work with, business owners, medical, some doctors. I'm just finishing, actually in the process right now, finishing up building a Honor Health property in Fountain Hills, Arizona. So we really do have the gamut on all of them. We're again are big in the community and with the chamber and chambers, I should say. And with that being said, as well as other organizations here in the Valley, and there's just a plethora of different business types. So we're not limited there at all. And again, we like the more obscure businesses too, if we can understand them and, figure out what their needs are.
And what kind of lending loan limits do you have at your bank? I don't know are you like a $500 million bank or $1 billion bank or?
So as far as loan limit, we are capped at about $6.5 million. Again, because of our size, we're a small bank. However, we do participate with other banks when we go over that. We have done, loans in the $23 million range, but we participated on those. And
for like your construction, are you seeing the majority of your loans being SBA right now, or are your percentage of SBA versus like conventional type of financing?
Actually, it's funny you say that, because we were just kind of looking at that last week a little bit. But I would say about a third of our loans are SBA. They're still, we're in a really nice, I'm very grateful to say, robust market. A third of my loans are construction as well. There's still a lot of building going on here and tenant improvements and, a lot of growth, which is ideal. In addition to conventional loans, I have, especially in that medical, legal type of, if the client has the 20-25% down, they don't want to go SBA. They don't want the time constrictions. They don't want the paperwork. They don't want the fees, or any other, covenants that they can avoid. So, I always tell people too, I do SBA, like I said, at least a third of my loans are, but, if you do SBA, well, I always say if we go conventional, it's like we're in a limousine. I'm the driver. You sit back, you relax. I got this. When we do SBA, because they're driving the bus, we're both in the back seat, and we'll let them tell us where we're going at times. So there are those, little gives that you have to deal with, but at the same time, SBA is ideal for the startups. For only requiring 10% down. And then just, again, some of the benefits to be able to go out for a 25-year amortization as well, 25 fixed, which conventional just doesn't happen.
Yeah, that's true. And speaking of that, on your conventional terms, are you usually like a 5-year or 10-year fix amortized over 25, or do you do 30-year AMs?
No, we go 25-year AMs with a 10-year term, and then we reprice at 5 years. That's our general.
You're listening to the Investor Financing Podcast. We'll be right back after this break.
Hello, Beau Eckstein here, host of the Investor Financing Podcast. Are you a lender, real estate professional, or vendor that provides products or services within the real estate investing and business owner space? We are offering a few sponsorship opportunities to get in front of a highly targeted audience If you're interested, please click the link below for further information. We look forward to talking with you. Thanks. Make it a great day. Most of the time, it's a 5-year and then it adjusts one time, then it's fixed for another 5 years.
Correct.
Amortized over 25. Okay.
10-year, right, and then we reprice it 5 years. So 25-year in, 10-year term, and then reprice after 5.
Great. And where do you see your bank as being like the most competitive? Where you're winning more deals? Is it just relationships that you think that you're winning the most deals from, or do you have like a certain lending niche where you feel like you're getting more deals because you're excelling at that type of loan?
I think, again, conventional, we're fast to market. The beauty of it is, and again, coming from a large bank, there's no layers. So literally the president of the bank is 3 offices down. When I need a draw on a construction project, it's right across they just moved her across the hall. So I don't even have to get up. I can just, talk across the hall, which is nice. Whereas, in the bigger bank, sometimes I had to go out of state on a construction draw, depending on what type of construction project it was. So I would say what really differentiates us is our speed to market. I mean, right now, on a conventional loan, I can get everything ready during the appraisal, and 10 days after I get the appraisal back. If that's in 3 weeks, I can close the loan. We do need the appraisal to do so. On lines of credit, same thing. Once I get the financials, everything I need, I can pretty much get that done, within a week. So yeah, speed to market.
Yeah, and that's very important, especially now because everybody's so busy that it's hard to get things done with these larger banks. Are you guys financing builders right now at all? Like custom builders that are building on spec in the residential space at all?
We are. Yeah, it's a case by case basis, but yes, we have a gentleman in our office here that I work with quite closely, and that is his area of expertise for us. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because I was just watching a news special on Arizona about, and I didn't realize, and it made me want to invest in Arizona. Just the amount of technology companies, like the semiconductor industry. I didn't realize how large. Like, it almost appears that like Arizona is going to be the new kind of Silicon Valley in certain ways. Is that really happening like that? I mean, you must see the sprawl and the development going on there.
It is. I like the sound of that too. I like the way you said that. We're hoping so, truly. Like I said, we're in a very robust market and just enjoying the ride, every day. I love what I do, which makes it easier. And it's just so nice, especially coming out. I mean, prior to COVID, we were doing very well. Even Q1, 2020, we were rocking it. And then, of course, the crash and COVID and everything hit. But it feels like a very healthy, even healthier than pre-COVID market. And again, just trying to enjoy the ride and see how long it lasts. But the beauty of it is, the more people who keep coming, the better, because the more need for businesses of all types, housing and construction, medical, hospitals. I mean, the more people, the bigger the need for everything. So that's ideal.
So yeah, you're probably getting a good amount of Californians. Like Nevada right now is getting a lot of Californians. I think that trend's going to continue. I think Arizona's is probably like the fastest growing state, or at least the top 2 or 3. So you guys are seeing tremendous growth, and so there's just sprawl going on. There's the main cities, and now there's the kind of tertiary cities are developing all throughout. It appears. So that's obviously good for business because there's a lot of construction going on right now. And so it seems like your bank is pretty bullish on the market going forward, that even with COVID, you haven't really cut your lending guidelines down as much.
No, we were fortunate, again, being a smaller bank, we only had to close during that month that they forced the businesses to close. The guidance here is come in if you want, work from home if you want, whatever works. 98% of all of us come in every single day. This is where it's happening. When you mentioned, people from California, I had a meeting this morning. We signed a loan, term sheet on a company coming in from California, and another meeting this afternoon at 4:00. and a medical mental treatment center moving their location here, and they're going to open 3 locations, just coming right out of the gate, hopefully in June. In addition to, a manufacturing company that just moved in from South Carolina. So the fun part about that is the reason the owner moved his company here was because he's an avid golfer in Arizona and Hawaii, and Arizona is closer to Hawaii than South Carolina. So we got lucky.
Yeah, I was just researching too, like Puerto Penasco in Mexico is only 3 hours from Phoenix. I was just looking at there. I was going to go travel there, and they call it Phoenix's beach, I guess. So I didn't know that, and now I just learned that. So that's the closest, one of the closest beaches to Phoenix. So I guess that's why, and it's only like a three hour drive. So I'm going to be taking a road trip from Las Vegas to Phoenix, and then 3 hours to Puerto Penasco, Mexico. So anyways,
it sounds like you have your sights on Arizona anyway. So yeah, you have to give me a call when you're here, and let's just, see what type of properties you're interested in, if you're going to come and stay with us too.
Yeah, no, it's definitely another state that I really like. So I would be interested in that. Why don't you give us a little bit of guidance on, over your years in banking, and what advice could you give to somebody that's getting ready to meet with a banker to discuss a loan opportunity that makes the process smoother and gets you to the closing table quicker?
Sure. So the best advice I would get is contact them immediately. If you're thinking, even if you at the beginning of the thought stages, even, start speaking with the banker, because the best thing is they're going to help you sort of put your business plan together, as well as your financials and what will be needed, provide that checklist. So you'll have a nice guidance for you, in the process. What happens is a lot of times people wait. Even I see it, and luckily I work with a lot of brokers, and they're, especially the ones that are very successful, they try to get their client in front of a banker ASAP. Commercial real estate's a little different than residential. You can't actually do a pre-qualified, but you can do a non-standard pre-qualification. You can get the financials, have them ready. What happens otherwise, and you see this all the time, and especially in a fast-moving market like today, if they locate the property, if I don't even have their financials yet, and generally they don't just have them all ready to send the minute they locate the property, there's a process. I mean, it takes them sometimes 3-4 days. Sometimes it takes people a couple of weeks to get me what I need, tax returns, 3 years, personal and business financials. Every bank is the same. But again, in today's market, somebody else might come right behind you and take that, opportunity, because you were trying to get your finances in order. So even if you go with one bank and get that going, if you find out down the road maybe that bank wasn't the right fit, you can easily go to another bank. You already have the ball rolling and everything ready. And especially here, and I don't know how it is in other markets, but a lot of us bankers, we work together. It happens very, very rarely, especially now that I'm here at a community bank. It doesn't go as much from me to them, but the bigger banks, as long as you get the client's permission for them to forward everything, I'll have everything that I need in a matter of minutes, usually. If we need to change the process. So, and you always, especially in real estate, need the appraisal, and they need to be bank owned, ordered.
Mm-hmm.
So again, just start the process. It's a 3 or 4 week process. So you might as well, if you locate the property, get that going, and, get the PSA signed as soon as possible. Just meeting with the banker as soon as you can, just share your ideas. It's usually, it is always beneficial. So that would be the best advice I would have.
Well, thank you. And give us a loan that you've done in the past, or a loan you're working on, not the details, but kind of walk us through kind of like maybe a challenging loan that you were able to overcome and close, and kind of some roadblocks you hit, or give us an example of just a deal you really enjoyed closing, and why you enjoyed it.
Sure. And real quick, I'm going to just step back just a second.
Sure.
Be happy to do that. But again, with regards to what advice would you give someone to, the other thing I would say is just because one bank says no, that doesn't mean every bank is going to say no. So ask. I've heard people, and you hear this all the time, in documentaries and things, they asked and asked, and people asked 8, 9 different banks. Finally, the 10th bank, they made it, and today they're a successful company. So, don't stop, don't give up, just keep trying to make it work, and eventually it will.
Mm-hmm.
So probably one of the most challenging loans I've had last year started off SBA. It was an expansion loan, we'll just say, for a leather goods company. And as the loan went along, SBA, the close of escrow got pushed up, and there was no way we were going to make that SBA. So we did a type of a bridge loan for them to meet the need that they needed to for the seller. And then we went in and finished the SBA loan. So it took a lot of creative thinking on what are we going to do, and we did. So that was ideal.
And I think that speaks highly of a community bank where, the decision makers are in the same location. They can do things that are not in the box and say, okay, this is a great customer. We need to help this customer close on time to honor the contract so they don't lose it, and getting outside the box. And I think that's why I started these conversations with bankers and different lenders throughout the nation, is because there's thousands and thousands of banks out there, and you're never going to know which is the right bank to go to. But it's really about relationship building. Start early in your journey when you're going to be buying property or building property, to make sure you know what you're getting, so you can get the best terms. And it's not always about the best rate, really. It's about being able to deliver and execute on time. And I think too many people out there are always, what's your rate? What's your term? And they don't really think big picture. The big picture is, well, what if I develop a depository relationship? And then that leads to me getting some working capital lines of credit, which I can expand my business and so forth. And so, financing is really what moves the world, right? It moves our country. If you can't leverage and finance, you're not going to be able to grow your business, because a lot of small businesses fail because of lack of liquidity. So it's important.
It's true. And many businesses succeed in spite of themselves. Their balance sheet is negative all over the place and has been forever. And somehow they're still, paying employees and working day to day. The sad part comes, during the succession planning, when they're trying to get out and they realize there was, again, it's, operating under negative funds. So that's always kind of scary too.
Well, Christina, this was a pleasure to have you on the show. We learned a lot, great discussion, and it was a real joy. And if anybody out there is in the Arizona market, I will put your office line in there so they can get a hold of you, and reach out if you are looking for some financing for anything commercial, SBA, construction, medical buildings. And Christina will be glad to help you, and really appreciate your time. Any closing words for our audience?
Yes, thank you, Beau. I want to thank you as well. Again, it's my favorite subject, and I really enjoy what I do. But the best thing I can offer to you, I welcome your phone call, any questions at all. And if I'm not able to help someone, I give you my word, I'll find someone who can. And sometimes that's everything. It saves you a lot of legwork, especially when you're trying to do the research on your own, and we already have, some ideas where it would fit. So I'd be happy to help in any way.
All right. Well, thank you so much. And thanks everybody for watching. I will see you on the next episode.
Look forward to it. Thanks, Beau.